Hi, I'm Pluto from Project Soul Tempus, as most of you know. I've just come in here to say I'm sorry. For the past few videos, I've said and done a few things that would usually upset most people, and I would just genuinely like to say that I'm sorry. Straying away from that, anyone ever heard of Doctor Who? Because I am watching Doctor Who, and I got into it because I saw like a bunch of TikToks about it, and I got through most of it. I'm on like the 12th Doctor right now, which is Peter Capaldi, but my favorite has to be Matt Smith, which is the 11th Doctor. Me and my one friend like him. He's like I only like him really because he's like quirky. He's quirky and cool, and him and Clara, it has to be my favorite dynamic, because I know it's kind of like a little controversial, the whole, oh, you just like Doctor Who because of like the mysterious man and like his little girl toy, but no, I feel like they have a healthy, like, banterful relationship that he really seems some interest to, especially because the 11th Doctor seems like the most human one. Yes, we had Ten's relationship with Rose, but that was a little it was a little bit more strained because Rose only really like fell in love with him after he turned into David Tennant. When he was Christopher Eccleston, they were more like friends. Speaking of Christopher Eccleston, they actually wanted him back for the 50th anniversary like memorial episode with the War Doctor and 1011, but he won't come back, mostly because he originally left because Russell T Davies, like the showrunner for that time, said that he was tired and like that he couldn't. But it was actually because behind the scenes Christopher Eccleston and Russell T Davies were having some issues, and it was like a whole ordeal. But other than that, I feel like that's why there's like suddenly this War Doctor that no one knew about, because Christopher Eccleston was supposed to be the War Doctor, because the War Doctor was supposed to be 9, but apparently there's this random one in between. And you know what I have an issue with? The whole regeneration scheme that happened in the final episode of the 11th Doctor series, the whole time of the Doctor thing, where it was like, where it's confirmed canon that we only get 12 regenerations. And Clara was like, oh, like, you're the 11th, like, you'll be able to regenerate, like, you can't die. She wasn't even like, don't leave me, like, this regeneration of the Doctor. She was like, don't die, like, people need you. Like, there's the crack in the wall, the Daleks and the Cybermen, yada yada. But, she didn't, she was like, no, just stay alive. And it's like, okay. But then he was like, no, because we had all the things, and then we had, for some reason, randomly the War Doctor, and then David Tennant regenerated twice because of the severed hand thing, and then with him, that actually makes him, I believe, the 12th with the 13th, actually, which is super fucking BS. But obviously, you know, it revolves, because Clara's like, Tempus, please, like, come back, and, like, make him, and he, like, gets a fuck ton of regenerations. But I hope anyone who has, like, watched Doctor Who has seen the new series with Shudigawa. Oh my god, I love him so much. Like, Matt Smith from, like, kind of 2000s-ish into 2010s, who is my favorite. But going into 2020 and like beyond, Shudigawa was my favorite, because I just think he's cool. His sonic screwdriver is stupid. Miles, can you put up a picture of Shudigawa's sonic screwdriver, like I talked to you about? But it's just dumb. But what sucks is that with this new Doctor and everything, one person, the person who played Captain Jack Harkness, which I forgot his name because he's unimportant, he made a bunch of TikToks about being pissed about not coming back. Like, he was like, I was a gay icon. And yeah, at the time he was, but then also he was pulling out his special man parts on set as a joke, apparently. So then when the people on the show were like, dude, you can't come back because you can't, that's not funny, like, that's not a joke. He, like, got all pissed about it and is now making 5 million TikToks about it. But also Neil Patrick Harris as a Toymaker. Like, I just watched, like, a explanation thing of Doctor Who and who Toymaker was, and I feel like he fits it so well. Because I watched a series of unfortunate events. I saw that he was all quirky and fun then, when he was supposed to even have a serious demeanor. And him as the Toymaker with a silly German accent is even better. And I love the tease of whoever picked him up. I mean, I'm an okay fan of Ruby Sunday. I really hope they tread lightly with this, because I feel like they already have that kind of, that flamboyant representation with, Shurigawa. But I really hope that they just turn it into a Friends thing, because from the trailers of what's going to come out in May, it really just seems like a Friends thing. It seems like a Big Brother vibe. Like, that's what I got from the Church on Ruby Road, it was like friends, siblings type. Because I feel like there's certain people that can make relationship stuff work well. Like Matt Smith and, like, 11 and Clara could make the whole relationship thing work well. But, like, when it transitioned into Clara and 12, 12 is, like, old. Peter Capaldi's old, so that's kind of weird. But 2, like, it wouldn't work. And it says there in there, like, I'm not who you wanted to love. Like, I'm a completely different person. I don't know if you know this. And it gets a lot better when Bill's there, because their spunky personalities combine. But, I can't, like, not talk more about Clara. And her whole storyline, I felt a little choppy and kind of rushed. It was just a little awkward for me, because it was Ooga Booga. Finally, the companion is something interesting. I mean, we had something a little interesting with both Donna and Rose with Bad Wolf, and for the third time, sorry. And Donna, for some reason, getting her molecules all shoved into the TARDIS before she was supposed to go to the TARDIS. But, with Clara's thing, I mean, it wasn't like she was forced to the doctor. Like, it was in the future that she was going to come to him as Oswin Oswald, and as Victorian Clara, and then as now Clara. She was split up across the timelines. I really didn't like the whole, she went to, like, the first Doctor and was like, steal the TARDIS. Because the original Doctor Who wasn't even, like, that. Like, it wasn't explained as that. The original Doctor Who was just, like, the plot was a man and his granddaughter and 2 teachers for some reason. Like, that's what it was. The Doctor had a granddaughter. That was retconned into just being his companion and not, like, his child. But at most, you can see, like, the child motif with the Doctor's daughter. Like, the episode with David Tennant. Like, that's where children motif comes in. Which, they were so cute. Because that lady ended up becoming David Tennant's wife. And they had, like, 1 million kids, which is really interesting. But, like, Clara jumping into the time stream was a little fun. Like, it definitely made for something quirky. I really did like on, what planet did he go on? What was it, Skaro? His, like, memorial was on Skaro? Or Trenzlor? One of those. But, I like that it was a giant TARDIS, that's cool. But I don't understand why his time stream was kept in it. That's a little weird. And why he was able to go in it after he was just like, if I go in my own time stream, like, the fucking world's gonna fold in like a bad biscuit. But he went in anyway, and it was like, oh, it was fine. And then we already got, like, I hope that even though there's, like, the fruitiness of Shurigawa, that they still bring back Vastra and Jenny. I mean, if you want to distract. But they were my favorite, like, 2000s, 2011s lesbian couple. So, like, and Strax, I can't get over him. He looks like a boiled egg. But, out of most of them, I feel like I like Eleven's character. His episodes were a little kind of boring. The whole thing with River Song I actually really didn't like because I feel like it drew away from making interesting episodes because it was like, oh, like this interesting thing, and then my wife, River Song, yada yada. I mean, the Melanie Malone thing, like the final episode with Amy and Rory, was really cool. I liked that. But I liked the tie-in back to Amy's whole thing with Weeping Angels. And I think as companions, Amy and Rory are cute because the last Centurion thing and Rory waited 1,000 years even though the man's made of plastic. But he, like, waited there forever because he wanted his wife to come out. I really wish that we could have seen, like, we could have hopped in some sort of timeline where, like, River wasn't kidnapped or something. Like, I know we get to see what we think is her in the spacesuit after, like, her brainwashing so she can go and kill the doctor. And don't even get me started with the Church of Silence and everything, and, like, the Daleks. With when they took, over during the time of the Doctor, which I actually really like. Like, I keep watching that episode because it's my favorite. One, because I like old people makeup for some reason. I just think it's really interesting when you age someone like that. It's just, like, really silly to me. And two, it just is a generally interesting episode because it starts off with, like, a Thanksgiving turkey and ends with a man absolutely hitting it to get some, like, sucking more regens and explode the Daleks. Which, I didn't know that they were around for so long. Like, that's, like, the original villain. That and what's silly is with Doctor Who, it, the basis of it, when it was first created, was supposed to be an educational thing for BBC. Like, it was supposed to be a historical thing. People traveling through time to historical places. Like a, historical magic school bus. Kind of like that, without the size changing. But within the second episode with the Daleks, like, the whole thing was no aliens and no bug-eyed monsters. And with the Daleks, they immediately broke that rule. Like, immediately. It was a eye stalk alien thing that ran on, for some reason, like, kinetic electricity. That's why they had to stay in their little bubble, which is really cool. But I hated that one episode with Clara and the Master and the Doctor when 12 was there, where it was the Dalek sewers, where they, like, can't die, so they just kind of mush them into the wall. It just really gave me the ick. And especially that they, like, climb inside. And I got really, like, nervous when Missy put Clara inside of the Dalek suit and she couldn't be like, Doctor, it's me. It just kept being like, I am a Dalek. Which doesn't make sense, because I feel like if you're able to do that, why wasn't Clara... If Clara as Osmond Oswald was able to be like, I am not a Dalek, then why wasn't Clara piloting a Dalek suit able to? Like, I feel like something, if you're in control of the suit, you should be the one being able to make it do so. Like, that's just my opinion with that. I haven't gotten around to the 13th Doctor, and I'm kind of dreading it because, like, from what I've seen, we get more representation with that she's, like, kind of like a lesbian, kind of, but, I'm just dreading it because she just doesn't seem that fun. She seems weird. Like, I get secondhand embarrassment from, like, all the clips I've seen, so, like, I can't do it, but I'm gonna finish 12 and see how I feel. But this is already 15 minutes long, so I'm gonna stop this and send it to Miles. But again, I'm truly sorry for what I've said.